Okay, so now, today, same day, we're going to do thirds and sixes. We'll talk about that in just a second. A third is G, A, B, G, B. Just skip the middle note. G to B, G, A, B. Now, same dealio. Your brain is going to lie, so it's a third from B. B, C, D. You'd think so. B, but it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's going to be D sharp to be a major third. So remember, your brain's going to lie, but the guitar neck won't. So this is always a third, G to B, that's a third, a major third, by the way. C to E is a major third out of this C chord. F to A is a major third out of this chord. Now here it's B flat to D. It's going to be this way, so it's right on top of each other, or I just use a ba. And then when we get back to here, that's our major third again. So our major third, and I would think of Oh Win the Saints, if you want to go Oh Win the Saints, or you can think of Country Roads. So this is my root third. Now, of course, I could have stayed on one string, but to try to stretch from root to third here is a little big, a little silly. Not totally silly, I do it all the time when we learn our arpeggios. 1, 2, 3, so I can go that way or this way. Cool. Well, what's a minor third? Just one less. So instead of getting up to the major note, which makes you happy, that's the happy note, I've got the sad note. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys. So those are the bad boys versus good boys, gonna give you a cookie, cause you are so good. Bad boys. Now, once again, I could have done it on one string. This makes a little more sense to get a flat third this way, or a minor third. By the way, so interval-wise, I would call G to B flat a minor third. But if I'm in the key of G, I call B flat the flat third. You can call it the minor third, you can call it the flat third. I don't understand you either way. So this I can go, now this I have to stretch a little bit more, so I can probably go 3-1 versus 2-1. Of course, you should be able to do this with any fingers. Just realizing this shape is a minor third. So if this was major, this is minor, this is major, this is minor, this is major, this is minor. And now this is major right on top of you because that's the tuning discrepancy. So minor actually looks like a major on the other strings. That'll be the whammy. And then this is major and this is minor. This is major from a D major chord. This is minor third from a D minor chord. Cool. Oh, and that was from a major chord, and this is from B flat minor chord. Major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, and then back to major and minor. Notice I am stretching there usually. I don't usually do that. I usually want to replace that. Cool. So this is something we'll do in other videos. This video is not supposed to be about the diatonic so much as about just the actual thirds. But if you took a major third in G and then A minor and then B minor and then C major and then a D major, now E minor, it's supposed to be an F sharp diminished, but we're only doing 2 notes. So in diminished usually has root, flat third, flat fifth. But we're not talking about the fifth here, so we're just doing a minor third and then major. So I can do thirds, I can do scales and thirds. Cool. And you can follow that up the strings. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, but you can't really tell it's a diminished because I only got 2 notes. So just a minor third, then a major third. Notice in my major thirds I go 2-1. For my minor thirds I slip in my 3-1. Minor third, major I replace it with 2. Major third, minor third, replace with 3. Minor third, major third. I can even go to the B diminished or minor third below me. Same thing on these sets of strings. So far, nothing but symmetry. It's when I get to here that these are the major thirds, and then these are minor thirds. So I'm in the key of B flat now. C minor, D minor, and I'm implying chords. Since I'm only playing 2 notes, I'm not playing chords, I'm implying chords. Major third, minor third, minor third, major third, major third, minor third, minor third, major third. And then I'm back to D, back to normality. Major third, nice and close. Minor third, major third, major third, minor third, major third. Cool. And these are probably where it gets real useful. Doing little So these are major thirds and minor thirds. Now remember, once again, major third, minor third, same string, major third. Now these aren't going to be affected, tuning discrepancy be danged, because the tuning discrepancy can't screw up on one string, that relationship. It can only screw up the relationship between 2 strings. So here would be a major third still, here's a major third still, minor third, back to the original. Cool, so G. Let's look at a little G here. Now I can do little, I can do them as double stops, or I can do them single, or maybe I can't. If I want to make it a little more country-fied, I can chicken pick it. I'm going to take my top note with a finger. I can use my 3rd finger or my 2nd finger, either way. And that pop, get a little more snap. So this is G to B. Cool. Now, if I were to flip that around and go B to G, oh, you know what, before I do that, let's talk about 6s. You don't know why we're talking about 6s, but you'll know in about another 5 minutes. So, G to E is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here I skip a string and then sort of get this, where what used to look like a major third, but now it looks like a major 6. And it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the 6th degree of the scale. If you know the G6 chord, you would be home by now. Now, the song I use for that is in B, C. And yes, this is a this is a major 6th. But it's really over a C chord. It's going from the G to the E note, and then it resolves to C. So it's really between the 5th of C, because remember, if you're on C, 5th is always below you, and the major third of C. So it's really going 5, 3, 1. So it doesn't resolve till the end. Kind of the same way that here comes the bride. No, there she is in B.C. My bonnie lies over the ocean. But I'm going to use Mama's Little Shortening Bread. Mama's little baby loves shortening. Mama's little baby loves shortening bread. So I'm going to go 1, 6, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5. And then a little flat third. Bad boys may do. But once again, we're going to do those more in the ear training videos than we are on just fretboard geography. We're calling all this fretboard geography. So G to E is a 6th. Cool. I also think of the 6th as the boogie woogie note. You could also find the 6 here. Just like I found the 3rd here. Well, there's the 6. So you skip a string. Now that seems stretchy, but I also call the 6 the boogie woogie note. So this, or the cowboy note. Root 5, 6, 5. And the sixth chord, I think, is the most diverse chord on the planet. And as much as you could just play it in the blues, you can play it in old-time country. Hey, good looking. I've just got a G chord and I'm putting my pinky on the 6 here. What you got looking? I was about cooking something up with me. Hank Williams does not use augmented chords. The sixth chord, so it can be used in blues, it can be used in country, it can be used in jazz, especially old swing music. It can just be used rock pop. So I think a seventh chord is real bluesy, and a major seventh chord is real cheesy, but a sixth chord is just right. And it's going to be in every kind of music, but I'm going to call this the boogie woogie note, or the cowboy note. Cool, so you can find that stuff all over, right? It doesn't make so much sense when you have to do that tuning discrepancy note. So it's just a whole step above your fifth. So if you know where all your fifths are, that's why we're doing this next. You got to learn where your unisons and your fourths and your fifths are. And then you learn where your thirds are, your sixes are. So third, 6. Major third, sorry, major 6. Major third, major 6. Now minor third, minor 6. I'm going to call that the Gregorian chant, or possibly 50 Cent. Not so pretty. See, when you're a whole step away from a chord tone, like the 6 is, it's a very pretty note. When you're a half step away, so this was, I call the Gregorian chant, because it's in all those creepy old monks from the 1200s in robes. Back when they were trying to put the fear of God in you. It wasn't about, oh, let's go to church and have fellowship with our fellow man. Nuh-uh. It was, you go to church and we're going to scare the bejesus out of you so we can control you a little bit better. Very ominous, right? It's not all like, oh, Jesus is love. It's right, very dark, very ominous. I'm not trying to put anybody's religion down. But it was, church was a much different 1,000 years ago than it is today, or 800 years ago. It was meant to scare you, and that's a very scary interval. They're like, oh, look, let's go to church and have bunnies and cupcakes. No bunnies, no cupcakes. So I can get the flat 6 this way. Although I sing while I play my guitar. Black Orpheus, that's the name of that, or Mahana de Carnaval, the 2 names for that song. Once again, that song is going to be in the key of C minor. But you probably don't know that song anyhow, so let's not worry about that. So I just think, we'll think of it as the 50 Cent note. In the club, or Happy Birthday, or whatever the song, In the Club. Pretty dark, creepy note. Now, it's not as creepy as this, that tritone, but remember, it's a half step away, so it's pretty dark, because actually it comes from the minor scale. So at least it's in a scale. This note's, it's in scales, but it's not in major or minor scales. It's in diminished scales, which are even more wacky than major or minor. So the flat 6, I could have gotten the flat 6 here. And of course, this is going to work on all our strings. Or. Now here, it's not not as far, is it? Because the fifth isn't as far. There's the flat 6. And then here, it doesn't make much sense because you'd have to push way too high up to get a 6 there. So that'd be silly. I do the 6, same fret. So here the 6 is on the same fret. And then here, can't get a 6. We don't have another string. We're running out of room. So here I'd have to do this 6. Or slide into it. Major 6, major 6, minor 6, minor 6, major 6, major 6, minor 6, major 6. Hey, that's right on top of me, isn't it? Because once again, the fifth has got a little smaller, so here's a 6. So let's just do 6s this way real quick. 6, 6, on top of you, and on top of you again. So these are going to be 6 where I skip a string. Cool? And minor 6s. Not so big. Not so big. Cool. Why am I doing 6s and 3rds in the same video? Maybe because 3 plus 6 equals 9. If I go from G to B, 1, 2, 3, that's called a major third. But how about if I go B from G? Now, if I go B to G, I might still be in the key of G. I might be in the key of D flat. It doesn't matter. Interval is a distance. So whatever the bottom note is, I use that major scale to climb up that major scale and say, does it fit this interval, or is it flat, or is it sharp, or is it major, is it minor, is it augmented, is it diminished, is it perfect? So if I go G to B, G to B. But if I go B to G, well, if I put my stupid finger on a B and did, now this sounds weird because right now I'm in the key of G. At least I think I am in my ears. But when I start in this B, and then to get to that note, so if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a sharp 5 or a flat 6. So B to G is a minor 6. G to B is a major third, but B to G is a minor 6. Once again, this is a little hard to wrap your head around. But if we do something like X major plus Y minor equals 9, except for perfect intervals, P intervals, meaning G to B is a major third, but B to G is a minor 6. Ain't it, shorty? GB, B to G. Now, if I go G to B flat, that's a minor third, right? Bad boys. But if I go B flat to G, well, that's a boogie woogie note in the key of B flat. So B flat to G is a major 6. What had been a minor third, 3, becomes a major 6. X major plus Y minor equals 9. 3 plus 6 equals 9. So a major third when it's inverted, because if you go G to B here, that's be a major third. But when you go B to G, it turns out that that's a minor 6. Major thirds become minor 6s, and minor thirds become major 6s. G to B flat, B flat to G. And also the other way, with 6s and thirds. So G to E. NBC. Now remember, that's NBC. We should really do Mom's Little Baby Love, shortening. So G to E is a major 6, but E to G is a minor third. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? G to E, that's a pretty big distance. But E back up to the octave G is just a minor third. Because G, if it's a major 6, well, 6 plus what equals 9? 3. And since I used a major already, it's got to be a minor third. If it was a minor 6, it's going to be a major third when it's inverted. I'll prove it to you. I'm a scary monk or 50 cent. Right? So that's a minor 6. But if I go E, and so this is G to E flat, but now I'm going to put G on the tippy top. Good thing we know where our octaves are because we watched the last video, so this is just G to G. So now I can go E flat, F, G, country roads. So a minor 6 inverted becomes a major 3rd. X plus Y equals 9. A major 3rd becomes a minor 6. A minor 3rd becomes a major 6. And vice versa. So 3rds and 6s are really the same thing. Now, yes, it's a totally different interval, but they'd be the same 2 notes. Meaning, now this is where it becomes practical. Because if you don't understand any of that, I don't really care because I'm not getting paid anyhow. G to B. But I'm saying a lot of this stuff could be over your head and you could still be a good player without understanding all this kind of stuff. And it'll make sense eventually. G to B. That sounds real pretty, and especially if someone's playing G. Da, 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 da. Right, I can do all kinds of little melodicisms. Right, a very steel drum Caribbean sound, or a very country sound, or just a darn right melodic sound. So G to B. But now I'm going to invoid them and go B to G. So this is a, believe it or not, this is a minor 6. Although you say, but that sounds like major, because you're still hearing a G chord. But the distance from B to G, B to F sharp is the 5th. So if I'm in the key of B, that's a dark note. Right? But if I'm in the key of G, these are very happy notes. Right? So this implies G major, even though it's a minor 6. I'm sorry for confusing you even more. But between this B note to a G, we just looked at it. It's a minor 6 interval. But it still sounds like G major, because in my ear I still hear G major. So we did G major, A minor, B minor, or a major 3rd, a minor 3rd, a minor 3rd. I bet you this will be the opposite with the 6s. A minor 6, this is a major 6 when they're right on top of each other in this set of strings. Major 6. Same thing, sorry, but a little bit different. Cool, I'm B, G, I'm sliding into it, half step. Now if I take all white notes except for one black note, F sharp, see that looks like G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major. But this is G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major. So X major plus Y minor equals 9. I am so sorry to give you mathematical formulas when it's coming time to play music. Once again, if this is a little over your head, don't worry about it. I'd really care more about being a good player than being a good visualizer. But this sure can be a lot of shortcuts. So if you can just grab a couple of things from this video, it might save you a lot of time. What I would take away with this is this is my basic go-to shape for a major 3rd. This is my basic go-to shape for a minor 3rd. But I also realize that major 3rds and minor 3rds can be on the same string. You just can't play them at the same time, but they're on the same string. Right, country road. It's going to be a nice little happy song. Dark, nasty roads, or rainy roads, dark, stormy roads. Major 3rds, minor 3rds, major 6s, minor 6s. And we invert them. Major 3rd becomes minor 6. Minor 3rd becomes major 6. Major 6 becomes minor 3rd. And minor 6 becomes major 3rd. So that helps a little bit with the 3rds. We'll do a lot more with this kind of stuff, but this is a little bit more about the theory of why this stuff exists. and the geography of why this exists. So if you just learn this one lick, 4-3, 5-5, 7-7, I'm so bad with numbers, 9-8, 11-10, 12-12, 14-14. I am skipping a string here this whole time, right? I'm going third string to the top string. 16-15. This is starting on G. So if you want to start on G sharp or A, you just move things up frets or down frets to be in the same key. And it's also, I would also really recommend this. Get as high as you can. You're a guitar player, it's your job. And you can keep even going down lower. And I've got some other videos that have there's more tricks and more gimmicks that you can do with a third to make it all chicken and country picking or whatever. But that's just sort of put there for a little fretboard geography. Oh, with the sixes. This is also a 6 relationship, and this is a minor 6 relationship. Major 6, minor 6. Major 6, minor 6. Cool. Enjoy your thirds and sixes.